What's up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. Look, there's a saying that goes, be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. And I guess people have their own interpretation to that. I got my own interpretation of it. Um, Sometimes we go through life and we see things that we want, or we say we want, or we think we want. We see other people in a position and we say, I'd love to be where he is or where she is. I'd love to be in that position. Man, I wish I had this. I wish I had that. But you got to always ask yourself the question when you say you wish you had certain things in certain positions, are you ready to have? See? It could be money. It could be a certain job or career. Whatever the case, if you think or you claim you want it, you have to make sure and know for a fact that you are qualified to receive it. And qualification doesn't always mean just able to do it. It also means able to handle it up here. Use money as an example. There are people who they got $10 million tomorrow, and I've said this before, they wouldn't make it through the year because they're not ready. There are people who say, man, I should be in the starting lineup. I should be the starting point guard. But you don't have the experience enough to know that once you get thrown in that fire like that, you're not ready yet. You can't handle it. You look at other people and say, man, I could do what he doing. I could do what she doing. And you get confused because that person may make it look easier than what it really is. Because they have the experience. They've been doing it for a while. So it seemingly looks like they may not be doing much and you feel as though you could do what they do or do better until you thrust in that position. So you got to always make sure that whatever it is you claim that you want, you got to make sure that you have legitimately qualified yourself here, but more importantly, qualified yourself up here. Be careful what you ask for because you just might get it. See? There are always things, there are always unknown factors on the other side of that thing that you want to accomplish or you want to have. And that doesn't make it bad all the time. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't go for it. It just means to make sure you're ready for it. Because when the unknown strikes, you got to be prepared enough to fix it or to deal with it and figure out a way to maneuver through it. Otherwise, you'll crack under that pressure. See? And don't come from a place of ego, and don't come from a place of ignorance because you look at something from a distance and you feel as though it's a piece of cake. Might not be what you believe it to be. We do the same thing with people. Man, if I was married to him, if I was married to her, I'd do this. I'd make sure that you don't know that. Can't say what you would do. None of us can legitimately say. We can have an idea because we know ourselves. We think we know ourselves pretty good, right? But none of us can legitimately say 100% what we would do or how we would handle a situation until we in it, until we face with that situation. That's why it's kind of crazy when people always talk about, but you know, the way I would have did that, I'd have handled it like this. I'd have handled it like. You don't know what you would have did. See? Then we say things like, you see other people go through certain situations, and it may be I don't want to say a tragic situation, but it could. But somewhere under that, just a hardship or a tough situation or a confrontation, and we say, boy, I wish that was me. Or, boy, I wish they'd have tried that with me. Do you? You don't know. You can't invite that kind of energy to yourself. You just got to go through life. Just go through life as peaceful as you can, but knowing that you're never the aggressor, but also knowing that, nah, I ain't going to be the one to start it, but I have qualified myself to finish it, if need be. But a real warrior prays for peace. A real warrior don't pray to be involved in a war. They don't pray to be able to test their skills out against somebody. A real warrior prays for peace. A real warrior like, I don't want no smoke. But we'll leave it at that. So don't invite energy to yourself, and don't be arrogant at the same time on the other side of that to assume that you would have the perfect handle on a situation if you were in it, because you look at that and that's your desire to be what somebody else is, or to have what somebody else has, or to automatically be thrusted in a certain financial bracket that you might not be equipped to cope with. You might lose your mind. You might lose your mind if you came in at $20 million tomorrow. See? Sometimes God protects us from the things we claim we want. we sitting around wondering why I ain't did this, I ain't did. Sometimes it's your protection. It's like, fool, you would ruin yourself if I allowed you to have that. And you may never get it because you may never qualify yourself, but at some point you might reach that level where you do, and then you get it. All of us can look back and say, I have this now, but if I had it 20 years ago, I would have blew it. Because you had to mature into it. So that's all I got to say about that, man. Leave your comments below. Hope this helps somebody out. Hope it's some news that all of y'all could use. It's your big brother K-Rino. Peace.